Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United drop Jadon Sancho interest. It says we want Jude Bellingham, not Jadon Sancho. Now it recently said Jadon Sancho's preference would be to leave Borussia Dortmund and go to a team with Champions League football. Fabrizio Romano said Jadon Sancho would be 100% happy to join Manchester United this summer. He said, Sancho was keen on a move to Man United last summer. Borussia Dortmund have lowered their asking price for Sancho. They want around £78 million. Borussia Dortmund have already confirmed that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over a possible transfer. There's a few clubs that are interested in him. Earlier on this season, it said that we was preparing a £50 million bid because we believed we could get him for a cut price deal. Before that, it said we paused our transfer pursuit of Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Last summer, he was our number one priority target. And Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close. Obviously, the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. The main reason we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Borussia Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Like I've said on my other videos before though, Fabrizio Romano's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too was Christian Falk from Bild. Dortmund admitted earlier on this season that they'll sell Sancho for the right price this summer, and Dortmund's CEO did reveal that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winner. We've already spoke with Jadon Sancho's representatives. This has been his fourth season at Borussia Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his games at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. He's endured a couple of bad periods, hasn't he? He's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023, and Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He enjoyed a couple of years at Man City. The main explanation he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities, and before he was at City, he was at Watford. But yeah, we've been in for Jude Bellingham before. We went in for Bellingham when he was at Birmingham. I prefer Sancho over Bellingham. But Bellingham's still a good player. Anyway, I want to now give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Aston Villa. I'm going to give you all the questions that Solskjaer was asked, and I'm going to give you his responses to them. So, here we go. Solskjaer has acknowledged that Manchester United will need to rotate players ahead of a busy upcoming Premier League schedule that will see us play 3 games in 5 days. Speaking in his pre-match press conference ahead of the first of those fixtures, Sunday's trip to Aston Villa, the boss said it was impossible to play so many games at such a high intensity in such a short period of time, meaning that even Harry Maguire, an ever present in the top flight since his capture from Leicester in 2019, may need to be rested. Read the full transcript, including Ole's thoughts on Villa and the future of Edinson Cavani below. Anyway, this was the first question that was asked to him. Congratulations on reaching the Europa League final. I want to ask about the schedule. Unfortunately, you said in November around the Everton game that you'd been set up to fail, and that's what's coming back from Turkey and having 48 hours. So how do you feel about this schedule next week? So Ollie's response was, I've never seen that schedule before in modern day football. I've looked through and I know Man United in 91-92 had a very similar run-in, and you can see how the results deteriorate. So for me, we've been dealt a very bad hand by people who sit behind a desk in suits, who have never played football and don't understand what this is about. If I'm going to look after the players, I'm going to make some decisions. We'll have to make some decisions. I've got to look after the players. That's the biggest thing. Injuries to players, and that's too much of an injury risk. This year has been so difficult. We're happy to put games on. It's so important to be safe with security around. I understand all this. It's got to be safe for the players. We want to try to put a good product out there. At the moment, it looks difficult, but knowing these boys, they'll take the challenge head on. Knowing me, I'll take the challenge head on, but I cannot risk them. So it has to be rotation. It has to be a lot of rotation and decisions made on the day of the game. We can't prepare for the game, which every team does. They'll get a week or 2 or 10 days or 5 days. This is someone else dealing hands. So yeah, that was all his response to that question. Yeah, we have got a very busy period. 3 games in 5 days, 5 games in 15 days. Because obviously we've got Villa tomorrow. Then obviously we've got Leicester on Tuesday. Then Liverpool on Thursday night. This was the second question. Just to follow up on that, I was just wondering how crucial these type of fixtures are for you now. You have a gap down to Leicester in third place and in many ways have secured a Champions League spot. But how crucial can this set be for you, and also do you have to be rude for the players with 3 games in 5 days? Ollie's response was, I've got to think about my players, but I know the other teams fighting for the Champions League place will not. They will not think, oh, that's not Man United's best team, that's not the best players. And I can promise you that it is impossible to play 90 minutes 4 times at this intensity at that level in the Premier League from Thursday to Thursday. That means I cannot play everyone in every minute, so we have got to prioritise. So yeah, Solskjaer's basically saying, he's going to be making rotation. One of the games he's going to play a weekend squad. This was another question that was asked to him. Hi Ole, you've spoken about how tough this season has been and how well the players have played to get into this position. Do you think there is a risk you may drop down the table, or you may lose games you wouldn't do normally, and you're risking your place in the Champions League next year because of something out of your control? Ole's response to that was, I trust my players to get a result. First of all, Sunday is a big game for us. Sunday is a massive game and we're looking forward to it after the boost of a final, which will probably give us energy, hopefully give us energy, and then let's see what we do Tuesday and Thursday. We've just got to take it day by day and hopefully we can play those games. So that was Ole's response to that. This was another question, Ole. Did you ask for this run to be moved, even a few hours further into Sunday? The 2 o'clock seems to be extra unhelpful to you. Ole's response was Sunday 2 o'clock is not the problem. That was always scheduled. Tuesday, Thursday, after Thursday, Sunday, that's a big problem. So that was his response. That one, very short response. This was another question. Hi Ole, sorry to continue the theme because you've got so many games in a short space of time. You've talked about rotation. Is it going to be a situation where you have to put one 11 out in one game, and then 2 days later have to put out a completely different 11. So his response to that was, yeah, as I said, 2 games in 3 days is difficult, but you can accept that. We do that at Christmas. 2 games in 3 days after a long season with all the games we've had is even more difficult. 3 games in 5 days is very, very difficult, almost impossible. And 4 games in 8, it is impossible, but I think you all know me, or I hope you do anyway. We'll take the challenge head on, and I'm not sitting here sulking, but I'm just saying some there do not understand the physicality of the Premier League. It's the best league in the world. I don't know how you can defend playing these 3 games in so short a space of time, and I have to look after the players. That might be somebody not happy with my selection for 1 game or 2 games, and that might affect whoever gets into the 4th position or Champions League, but that's not my problem, that's everyone else's problem. This was another question. United have a strong record against Villa and are unbeaten in 21 Premier League away games against them. How are you approaching the game with Villa also still without Jack Grealish? Ole's response to that was, I think they're a very good team. You saw them last week beat Everton. They had a very good season. They had a little spell with some worse results, but we played them in a pre-season friendly before this season and lost. We won a hard-fought game, 2-1 at Old Trafford. We know it's going to be tough, but we're looking forward to it. You know the energy that we used tonight will probably be filled up twice because of getting into a final. I think we'll recover, refuel. We're looking forward to this game. The players are looking forward to it. They'll know it's a big game for us. So that was all response to that question. So this was another question. Is fixture congestion punishment for the scenes at the weekend, and do you think Joe Glazer will respond to supporters just by Friday's deadline? Ollie's response to that was, I haven't got a completely good reasoning behind why it had to be like this, but as I said, it's not with my players' minds anyway, and the communication between the club and the fans, it's ongoing, and hopefully we can get an end to all the speculation and definitely the violence. That is not something we want to see. We want to focus on football. My job is focusing on football, and we've got 3 games to win in 5 days. And this was another question. Is the fixture pile-up an advantage to the top 4 rivals playing a potentially weakened United team? Ollie's response to that was, it depends what team I put out in what games. One of them might not be happy because I play a full team for one and the next 11 in the other. Now this is towards the end of the press conference. This was another question. What would you say to those that say United should suffer because it was their fault and the fans that stopped the game going ahead? Ollie's response was, I feel for my players, I feel for the team, I feel for them. Having had this fantastic season, got to a final, I'm sat here answering these questions and not about the running. They've worked their socks off, they've been absolutely brilliant, and I'm just very, very happy for them that we've got to this place. We just have to do the best we can. It's another challenge for us, and please, you can't see I'm not happy with it. I'm not sulking. It's one of them things that I know my players will take head on, and we as a group will be stronger for it when we come out of it. I just keep my fingers crossed that no one will get injured. That's going to be my biggest concern. Injuries. Harry Maguire has played every minute for us in the Premier League since he came. I don't think that's possible now. That's another that he could have been very, very proud of. But I can't really see that happening now. And this was the final question of the press conference. Tonight showed why you want Edinson Cavani to stay and you want him to stay, but it is his decision. Do you have a time limit on when that needs to be decided by? So his response was, we don't have a time limit, but the more goals he scores, the better we become as a team, and the bigger the chances that he'll want to have this feeling again. So let's just talk after Sunday. Again, hopefully maybe he's decided. So that was everything that was mentioned during the press conference. And yeah, I think there's a good chance that Edinson Cavani will stay at Manchester United for next season. He said not so long ago that Edinson Cavani has decided that he wants to stay at Manchester United in the summer. He actually said it was expected to be official this week. He said last week that Edinson Cavani was close to agreeing a one-year contract extension with Manchester United. Not so long ago, Solskjaer says he's doing all he can to convince Edinson Cavani to stay at the club. Before that, he said that Edinson Cavani's future is not 100% being decided. And not so long ago, Cavani had a meeting with Manchester United, and he actually asked to leave Man United to go to Boca Juniors. Ole did admit earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. And before that, Edinson Cavani's father came out and said that Edinson Cavani is unhappy, he doesn't feel comfortable in England, and he wants to leave. Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Cavani was willing to take a pay cut to go to Boca Juniors. It did mention that he's got a verbal agreement with them, and it said Boca Juniors were willing to offer him a 3-year contract. And Marcus Rojo also held talks with Cavani over a move to Boca Juniors. But Cavani's made a fantastic impact since he's come in, analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United. He's scored good goals, he's created good chances, his movement in and around the box has been good, and his hold-up play has been good. There has been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated, but not many games. Got a good pedigree behind him as a player as Cavani. He was at PSG a long time and he won quite a lot of trophies at PSG before he came to Manchester United. So yeah, we're coming into this game against Aston Villa on the back of a 3-2 defeat against Roma in the Europa League semi-final second leg. It was a very, very good game against Roma. Edinson Cavani obviously got both of our goals. Roma's goals in the second leg obviously came from Edin Dzeko, Chris Tante, and the third goal was an own goal by Alex Telles. Got to say, De Gea was absolutely superb against Roma in the second leg. He must have made at least 10 saves. One for De Gea, Roma would have probably had more goals. But we are into the Europa League final. We will play Villarreal. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Manchester United manager, and it's our 8th European final. We did beat Roma 8-5 on aggregate because obviously we're beating them 6-2 in the first leg at Old Trafford. We were sensational in the second half in that first leg, but was poor in the first half. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. And Solskjaer said the other month that winning trophies can be an ego thing. But yeah, we win the Europa League. That will give Man United something to build on going on into next season. We haven't lost to Aston Villa since 2009. You know, don't forget they did beat us at Old Trafford back in 2009. It was a goal from Agbonni Hall. And we haven't lost to Aston Villa at Villa Park since 1995. So we have got a very, very good record against them. Aston Villa's current manager is Dean Smith. He's been Aston Villa manager now for quite a few years. Obviously, before he was at Villa, he was at Brentford and Walsall. Aston Villa have got some good players in their team. Like I mentioned, you know, Jack Grealish, he's a very, very good player. Obviously, he's ruled out for this game. Man United have been relentlessly linked with Jack Grealish. You know, he's been at Villa now for such a long time. You know, he's risen up their youth academy. Now he's been in their senior squad a while. Villa have also got Trezeguet now. He's a good player. He's also out with injury. Villa have got Morgan Sanson. They brought him in back in January. He's out with injury. I think they're the 3 injuries that Aston Villa have got. Villa have got Ross Barkley. I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. I think Ross Barkley's done well at Aston Villa. Villa brought him in last year. Ross Barkley's obviously been at Chelsea and Everton before. And Ross Barkley was at Everton for a while. Villa have also got Traore. I think he's done very, very well since he's gone to Villa. You know, Villa brought him in last year. I think he'll be involved in this game. Ollie Watkins, I think he'll be definitely involved in this game. He's made a fantastic impact at Villa. You know, Villa brought him in last year. They've got Martinez, who I think's one of their goalkeepers. And last year they brought Matty Cash in. Mel Ghazi, he's good for Villa as well. I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. I think Tyrone Mings is also very, very good. I think it said earlier on this season that Man United were interested in Tyrone Mings. Very, very good centre-half. Tom Heaton is one of Aston Villa's goalkeepers. We've actually recently been in for him. We're actually looking for a replacement for David De Gea. You know, we're looking for a second choice goalkeeper. But I'm expecting Man United to beat Aston Villa because we're in a good vein of form at the moment, and plus our away record in the Premier League is very, very good. We are unbeaten in our last 24 Premier League away games. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We'll probably finish second this season. So it's good that we're going to finish in the top 4. Obviously, last Sunday, our game against Liverpool got postponed because hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford and invaded the pitch. They were protesting against the Glazers. As you all know, the Man United-Liverpool game got rearranged for Thursday, the 13th of May. We are planning a second protest against the Glazers before our rearranged game against Liverpool. Now, I give you some more news, didn't I, regarding the Glazers yesterday? Joe Glazer has wrote a letter to Manchester United fans. I obviously read the full letter out to you. Solskjaer did recently say that the Glazers apologised to him. Solskjaer did say that the violent incidents went too far, but he did say that the club need to take notice of the fans. Solskjaer was recently angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests. Gary Neville's had quite a few things to say on it. Neville obviously said it was a peaceful protest. Obviously Neville said the Glazers are to blame for the protests. And obviously when that European Super League come onto the equation, Gary Neville, said the Glazer family need to leave Man United, and he called them scavengers. Avram Glazer, not so long ago, refused to apologise over the European Super League. Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? Now, it said not so long ago that the Glazers could be forced to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. He said before that the Glazers have got no intentions of selling Man United, so reflecting on that, they are here to stay. A few weeks ago, our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington. Some of our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that, the Glazer family will not sell Man United, and he actually told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. Joe Glazer released a statement earlier on this season apologising over the European Super League. But we get the Glazers out, I can assure it would be the right decision by Man United. Because obviously I hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. The Glazers have been at Manchester United around 16 years. They bought the club back in 2005 for £500 million. The Glazers have put us in so much debt. So we need to recommend new owners in. Obviously, Woodward will stand down at the end of the year, because it got announced a few weeks ago that Ed Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Ed Woodward, because obviously we've been very critical of Ed Woodward for a long time. Woodward has had a 16-year association with Manchester United. Not so long ago, Ed Woodward's home got attacked by masked protesters. And obviously, there's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. So obviously, the news now regarding Sancho. I recently gave you the news, didn't I, regarding Harry Kane from Tottenham. The Glazers are planning to sanction a £90 million bid. Obviously, they try to stop the protesting. Harry Kane said not so long ago that he wants to win team trophies after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. Earlier on this season, Kane said that he wants to leave Tottenham if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. Kane said he's decided that he wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham. Because earlier on this season, he said that, PSG were looking to beat us and City to the signing of Kane. Earlier on this season, it said that Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because he refused to commit his future to Tottenham. Said he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman said not so long ago, Tottenham will only consider offers for Harry Kane starting at £125 million. As you all know, Man United are still in for Haaland. You obviously know the news as well regarding Pau Torres from Villarreal. But in the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Man United to do good business, and I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United. Solskjaer wants good backing, and you know what? I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves, because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. Got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and we've got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for a while. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.